What unhealthy food is healthier than people think? Most if you just stick to the recommended serving size. Exactly. You can have 2 Oreos after dinner every once in a while and be just fine. You can't have a whole sleeve of them shits after every dinner, though. Not really a food, but apparently gin has less calories than a banana. Butter. Although to make a butter is very bad, putting it on vegetables and other foods is great. Way to make it taste butter. See what I did there? And research suggests that butter can also improve body composition, or if you have the right activity level. As a big person who moves a lot, I have tried getting my necessary 3,300 plus calories in the form of 100% healthy stuff like salads and avocados and beans and lean protein, and let me tell you, the stuff that happens in my bowels after eating like that cannot be healthy. Sometimes you just need calories, and bad calorie-dense foods are a perfectly fine way to get them. Potatoes, pasta, bread, bring it on. Edit. The same applies to salt as well. If you live in a hot climate and sweat a lot, you need to make sure you are getting enough salt. There is a reason it is a part of our diets, and it's not just preservation and flavor. When the reply has more upvotes than the actual post, pizza can actually be rather healthy if you make it from scratch yourself rather than buy it. If you add toppings like chicken or vegetables can help as well. Mu-e-l-u-8-m-i-m-m-o-l-e-e-p-c-e-c-m holla c-r-o-l-a-c-o-b-d working toilets. I honestly think of homemade pizza and takeout delivery pizza as 2 different foods. The pizza I make at home with homemade crust and sauce, roasted red peppers, basil, and a little sausage is delicious and much healthier, but sometimes I just want a big greasy takeout pizza. It's all about portion size. Pizza is also an awesome carb-load food if you've got a workout the next day. If you add toppings like chicken or vegetables can help as well. But that makes it not good, sad face. Okay, Michelle Obama. I had a large Domino's pizza with vegetables, alongside 2 garlic pizza breads. I wish I just made my own. Has something from each of the major food groups. It's fine as long as you don't eat the grease-caked shit, or buy it from a restaurant, an actual restaurant, not one of these fast food chains. I like to think that piling some veggies on top of my store-bought frozen pizza isn't too unhealthy, since I find it relatively easy to not overeat that kind of pizza. I can keep it to 2 to 3 small slices, or around 600 kilocalories. When I make actually good pizza or splurge on something fancy, then I can't ever seem to keep it under around 1,200 kilocalories in a sitting. Yep, it's actually a pretty great split of protein, fat and carbs for good nutrition. If you only have 1 or 2 slices, that is. Worst thing about it is the white flour, but that's fine in moderation. 2 ingredient dough. 1 cup self-rising flour, 1 cup Greek yogurt, is half the calories and carbs as regular dough. What exactly do you think makes pizza you buy less healthy than pizza you make? Coffee. It's generally what and how much you put in it that makes it unhealthy. You can have my vaguely coffee-flavored sugar cream drink when you pry it from my cold, dead late, which will probably be pretty soon, by the looks of it. Black coffee is a staple item for bodybuilders. Arnold used to drink the shit out of black coffee. Honestly, as long as you hydrate properly, coffee is good for you. Whether the caffeine addiction is healthy or not is a whole other can of worms. Coffee helps prevent gout. It can prevent cancer, Alzheimer's, and burns fat, but only if you drink it black. Which is why I gradually went from having nearly 2 full spoons of sugar and 25% milk coffee to full black coffee. Took me months of procedural downgrading until I got there, and frankly I'd never go back to putting anything in my coffee. I can't bear the taste of sugar in coffee anymore. A small step to healthier eating, drinking habits, in my book. Edit. Also, Going from 5 to 6 a day to 1 in the morning or in the evening is a big leap. Try drinking more water if you have that change in mind. Hydration helps you stay awake. Potatoes. Most folks love to fry their potatoes or otherwise eat them with large amounts of things like butter, cheese, bacon, and sour cream. While still not the most nutritious veggie in terms of vitamins and minerals, a simple plain baked potato is under 200 calories and is fantastic for helping big eaters feel fuller with smaller meals. I love baked potatoes with salsa. The trick is that, from a nutritional standpoint, potatoes should be treated as a carb, starch in the same category as bread, pasta, rice, etc., due to being so calorically dense. In controlled portions, it's just fine, but it's not a replacement for high-fiber, low-calorie vegetables, which should be a regular part of your diet. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. Prior to the potato blight, it was actually well documented that the Irish were taller, stronger, and in better health than the British due to their diet high in potatoes. It's the most nutritious of LUTC1CEKMLODOUTRMEE. Wait, where do people think potatoes are unhealthy? They are pretty much the cornerstone for most bodybuilding diet programs for carbs intake. Popcorn, minus the tons of butter and salt, especially if it's made with just plain kernels in an air popper, not from prepackaged microwave. Lee Tail BS. Gary Nova 370 points 4 hours ago, edited 2 hours ago. Chips and salsa is considered junk food by many, but really it's just the chips that are usually vanilla. Salsa is usually really healthy, especially homemade because it usually has no sugar. 5. If you need a recipe, try replacing the chips with something healthy. Thin cucumber slices with a little bit of salt works. TSB. Replacing a corn chip with a thin cucumber slice to dip in salsa is sacrilegious. Why is it only a snack? Why can't it be a meal, you know? Blank stare blinking. MMHMM. Do you have any better suggestions than cucumber slices? Replace salt with tahini and you don't even need the salsa. I use a homemade salsa instead of salad dressing. Exactly. Do what I do and shovel it into my rapidly masticating maw with my bare hands. Chunks of pepper and tomato oozing between my fingers and spattering my shirt in the table with red, as the rest of the potluck watches in abject horror and disgust. Chips. Like proper chips, not crisps, which is what I think you are referring to. Can never be healthy if they're to taste even half decent. I never knew that sub existed. Thank you for the new addiction. There are also some great tortilla chips alternatives out there made out of black bean or quinoa. IROM. E816. I'm all for changing to different ingredients or food if it makes a meal healthy, unless it deviates from the original concept too far. Like a veggie burger can be great and I won't miss the meat. Atari AAE Coam VICEEELU Mio Mi MITRUCM 1011 to 1 or UE. Mi Rel. E. Elite 114. Dipped in A1 steak sauce and garlic mashed potatoes on the side. I made salsa once for some guests. They said they loved it. I'm not a big salsa fan, so I just took their word on it. I hate the cleanup process though. Nachos Flanders style? PN Alley Pat 181E1D. Pretzels aren't much healthier than tortilla chips, but they aren't fried, and they are delicious with B5B chocolate. Dark chocolate specifically. Unsweetened chocolate in savory dishes is awesome. Love me some mole, and I often add a teaspoon of baking chocolate when I'm cooking chili. What if it's almonds covered in dark chocolate? Slob Mamel. Please say chips. Please say chips. Please say chips. Chips can be good in moderation. Just eat a small serving as a snack or side. This goes for corn, chips, potato crisps, or fries. Switch to baked chips. Dietetics and nutrition student intern here. and my pick is frozen vegetables. There are many people who say fresh produce is the way to go, but many times they are picked before they are ripe to be shipped to the grocery store. Frozen vegetables, on the other hand, are picked at peak ripeness, so they tend to have higher concentrations of antioxidants and other micronutrients, other than those that are destroyed by heat when thawed. That would be found in less amounts in fresh produce. So if you can't get your produce locally, frozen vegetables are a great option and they last a long time. Always check labels for added ingredients, but most of the time it's just the vegetable. Wow, I did not know this. Doesn't it lose nutritional value when frozen? That's what I've been told all my life. I suppose canned goods, preserved in water, etc., are bad for you, due to all the sugar to keep it tasty. I've heard fat isn't actually that bad for you. Sugar's the real unhealthy ingredient, not fat. I think in the 60s the sugar industry did a massive smear campaign pointing to fat as the enemy. It worked pretty well. Anything with nutrition is weird. A buddy does keto and he dropped like 180 pounds eating steak and cheese. He claims all this stuff about the Medical Heart Association lying about to stuff to sell pills. I want to disagree with him, but his weight loss is incredible. Granted, 3 years from now he may die from explosive heart attack. Best deal is to just eat little of everything. Seems safest that way. The danger in fat is how easy it is to eat a whole ton of calories from it. It isn't inherently bad for lum albina color klbaoltlbalume. Yeah, there was a post earlier that asked about things people think you're healthy but actually aren't, and my comment about fat-free foods got a ton of upvotes. Lots of people replied, STM Leela RT Marie CE. I mean, that's why people do keto. Basically burning fat, which helps you lose weight quicker. Our bodies usually have to burn carbs first before fat. This is why a lot of actors work out in the morning before eating, allowing them to shed fat before they eat carbs, helping them lose weight quicker. It's all depending in the dose. By the way, alcohol is the second calorific food after fat. The irony is that the comment above yours says sugar for the non-unhealthy food, AMOW. It's not at all, and low-fat diets in men can lower testosterone a lot. I am not saying go and smash a bunch of potato chips, but don't shy away from a steak. I'd think twice about the dessert afterwards though. Depends on the type of fat. Also, the big problem in America is overconsumption in general. So, while it's better than sugar, if you are overeating it, you aren't going to be very healthy. Added sugars especially, they have drug-like side effects that disturb normal feelings of hunger and fullness. Candela Bellin 7.5 hours ago, edited 4 hours ago. Sugar is worse. Too much fat is bad for your cholesterol and blood pressure. Your body has much more use for fat than it does for sugar, though. People tend to think consuming fat makes you fat, which is not true. Also, consuming food that has cholesterol doesn't raise your cholesterol levels. Well, it does increase bad cholesterol if you have too much. It's really hard to say. Ocala miecm reli m conta untmllermul mommy dee myelo. I1 ailmayat mlo latll. 16,111 Worse. But there's still a lot of evidence that saturated fats affect on blood cholesterol. Particularly increasing your LDL. Probably isn't good. It's just that we used to think that fat was borderline toxic. And now it's more along the lines of, cut back on the red meat, stop deep frying 3 meals a day, and maybe cook stuff in olive oil instead of butter sometimes. I always default to Michael Pollan's rules: eat food, not too much, mostly plants. Neither is bad for you. Both are critical things you need to intake, which is why they're so damn delicious. Your tongue is designed to seek them out and make you eat more. The problem with them is moderation. Saturated and trans fat are bad for you. Poly and mono are not. GMO food. GMOs are a tool, not an end result. Spagata 111,210 points 3 hours ago, edited 3 hours ago. If it weren't for GMOs, a lot of people would not have access to food. Being anti-GMO for no discernible reason is just one example of mass stupidity we see every day. I have a friend in rural Indiana who thinks that GMOs should be illegal. He cannot give you any answer as to why, and just says something vague like, "Why do you think we have more cancer and autism?" Yet this dumb fuck literally wouldn't be able to eat if it weren't for GMOs. In small town Indiana, this guy doesn't exactly have his pick of grocery stores, yet he always has something to eat that won't rot in a day. People seem to think GMOs are gonna make you grow a third arm, lol. Every food crop we currently produce is a GMO. Sure, some of it was done over hundreds of crop generations, and some of it was done in the lab, but corn sure as shit didn't look like this a couple hundred years ago. You mean countries saying GMOs are bad as a protectionism play doesn't usually have any correlation to negative health effects? Shocking. Greens hate it because it's not natural. They could just do 5 minutes of Googling to read a bit about it, but no, they'll hate it religiously. Popcorn by itself, it's just low-calorie carbs and air. You can use seasonings other than salt to add flavor. Chili powder and lime juice are pretty 10. Gluten. People literally have no reason not to eat gluten. It is just protein that comes from wheat. For some reason everyone thinks they have a gluten intolerance now, which is so stupid it hurts my brain. It sucks for actual celiacs too, because often gluten-free does not guarantee that it's safe for them to eat, because stupid restaurants will prepare the GF dough on the same workspace as they prepare the normal dough. I have a couple people in my life with celiacs, and they thought that when the gluten-free thing took off, it would make their lives easier. Except not really, because now companies and restaurants are doing what you said, which is either to not understand what gluten-free is at all, or cause cross-contamination because again, they don't understand that for some folks, it's an actual allergy and not a diet choice. Oh, and now they have the added fun of people rolling their eyes at them when they request gluten-free because of all the folks who've made it an obnoxious thing. It's neat. At least we have more choice as popularity of gluten-free foods increases. Agree with you on the restaurant front too. For that reason, they get you to ask usually. Gluten has been a very important source of protein for much of human history. Many people, throughout history, especially poor people, have not had much access to meat products. So, having a decent protein content, even if incomplete, in a cheap staple food was very much beneficial to the populations that grew wheat, barley, etc. It was ridiculous back then. I had bunch of patients who wouldn't control their sugar intake even though they have type 2 decimeters. Wouldn't take care of their salt intake even though they have stage 5 chronic kidney disease, but they would tell me happily that they cut the gluten off. I think it's one thing if they identify it as an issue with their body, like gluten sensitivities, intolerances, and allergies even besides celiac disease. But just cutting it out because they vaguely think it's bad is dumb and pointless. I don't have celiacs. I do have autoimmune issues. I went gluten-free for 8 weeks. The vast majority of my stomach issues, sleep issues, and nerve pain issues either severely decreased or went away. I figured whatever it was, it is past. I went back to occasionally eating gluten. Every time I had a meal that had gluten, rather quickly my stomach issues would come back and I'd notice nerve pain issues that had been gone a long time reappeared. I don't understand how, what, or why gluten would do shit to me because I have been tested and do not have celiacs, but doing food journaling and pain journaling I identify there seems to be a relationship, be it placebo or what, to my issues, so I try to be gluten-free now. My fiancé has an allergy to different wheat protein, and the number of bandwagon gluten-free people has been a huge boon for her because now most restaurants at least label the foods that she can eat. I think it depends where in the world you are on the whole careless restaurant thing. Lona Cafe, and in my jurisdiction if we cross-contaminate any allergen stuff and the health inspector can. Yo, Martauiliasen. I have a peanut allergy though, so I'm very strict about my kitchen keeping allergens separated and clearly labeled. I always warn people at my restaurant that things may still have traces of gluten. The people with genuine issues will be okay with that and usually say something like, as long as you don't accidentally give me the regular bread it should be okay. The ones just doing it because they think they'll lose weight or they're on the bandwagon usually go, oh, well, give me the normal pizza base then. Idiots. We take every precaution we can given that we are not an allergen-free specific restaurant, but stopping the cooking line to clean everything to make a gluten-free option for someone who is just doing it because it's cool is the reason why your meal took an extra 10 Nanaka, Euro 16 to 10. 1 out of every 133 people worldwide have gluten insensitivity. It's a real problem. I'm one of them. Confirmed I don't have celiac, but gluten messes me up. So, I'm sorry people like me may hurt your brain, but gluten hurts mine. So I'm going to continue to avoid it and appreciate companies that give me gluten-free options. My sale, who I should state, is a narcissistic moron, was told by a chiropractor that some back pain she was experiencing was due to gluten intolerance. Then gluten is blocking releases, or something that made absolutely no sense. She is now even more unbearable. Gluten intolerances are real. Ask anyone with an autoimmune disease, including celiacs, if they have gone gluten-free and the results. Most of the time they will tell you that their lives have improved or stayed the same but have never gotten worse. Other than the lack of pizza lol. Yes, there are stupid people who claim they have to be gluten-free and aren't, but the mainstream popularity of going gluten-free as a diet has expanded our options at the supermarket, and most chains are now carrying gluten-free as well. You are correct that the restaurants are not guaranteed to be safe, especially to celiac who are highly sensitive, but I know places like Jimmy John's have policies on glove changes to make it more safe for people like me who aren't as sensitive. Source: my dad and I both have Hashimoto's and have been gluten-free for 10 plus years. AIP for the past 2 years. My conspiracy theory is that the gluten-free movement is the most successful propaganda campaign ever, perpetrated by big celiac to get them more food options. But a scientist told me it will make my dick fly off. Pretty much anything. Nothing is really massively unhealthy. They all have calories, fats, sugar, etc. It's all about how much of it you have. Eating a couple of biscuits every day isn't a major issue. Eating an entire pack is. Exactly. I keep candy in my house at all times because I like to have dessert after dinner. Having 2 Hershey's Kisses usually satisfies the crazy, and then I don't eat like a big piece of cake or something. I have figured out the ones I have self-control over and those that I don't, and just get something I can have a little bit of. This comment should be at the top. Practically no food is unhealthy. It's a question of personal goals and a moderate understanding of nutrition. Calories, macros, micros. The end. Edit word and clarity. For recite TTITITT meals. Balali, ET equals 10. Eggs. They are high in nutrients and protein. Many people are convinced they are bad for you because they contain quite a bit of cholesterol. But they raise HDL, the good type of cholesterol, that's also in fruits and vegetables. The bad cholesterol, LDL, is found in breads, butter, etc. Not all types of cholesterol are bad, and Some people don't know that. People can't decide whether they're amazing or the worst thing you could ever eat. They've been the cause of cancer and heart attacks but are also a superfood that's a staple in any health guru's diet. The jury is not just out on eggs. They're wandering around in a daze, super confused, 2 cities away from where the trial is taking place. I eat a ton of eggs, and I'd love to see definitive proof that they aren't bad for you. Or maybe are even good, but the results are all over the place. All I know is eggs are tasty, filling, and can eaten in a whole load of different ways. Also, scrambled eggs become a whole new meal if you add hot sauce. There is no concrete evidence that dietary cholesterol has any effect on arterial cholesterol for most people. Your cholesterol levels really aren't affected by your diet. CV Alt 100 1ATV10 Basmati rice. For white rice it has a glycemic index of 50 to 58. For whole grain rice, for comparison, brown rice has glycemic index of 68. Daisy people unite. Finally, I can go back to enjoying my biryani and pulao. Glycemic index isn't all that important, as long as you are eating it with a healthy source of protein and vegetables. Then your body is going to be processing so many different things that your carbs will be processed at a good steady rate. Basmati rice is my favorite. Also any rice, assuming you are only eating a serving or 2 of it. TBH. Carrots. I have had 2 very large people tell me I needed to be careful with carrots because they have so much sugar. I don't think I ever saw either of them with a carrot. Soda? Yeah. Candy? Yeah. Carrots? Nope. I'm pretty sure no one ever got fat eating carrots. Yup. My partner considers carrots and fruit junk food due to their sugar content and doesn't. Lola Tang PMTT10M La PRYEALTOCET LEMOULA Ali ULALANT LM October 1-1. Teacher 2 with all the vitamins and fiber that they contain instead of cookies or something. Too many carrots can make your skin blotchy and orange. I found this out in high school when I had an eating disorder and was eating at least 2 to 3 large carrots a day. Yeah, I heard that last year too. It was nuts. For reference, I am a pretty healthy person. I do long distancing running and lift weights. I'm at a healthy weight and body fat percent. But for some reason, last spring, so many visibly out of shape people tried to convince me that carrots were bad for me, along with stuff like apples and oranges. It was a strange time. Most of them were on the keto diet, and surprised none of them succeeded in getting healthier. Some people don't understand the difference between the natural sugar in fruits and vegetables and the sugar in processed foods. The myth about carrots making you see in the dark was circulated by the British in WW2 to disguise the fact that they'd invented radar, which was, in fact, helping them to see the German planes in the dark. Donuts. Have you seen how many of them are in a can of Coke? They must be super healthy. That's why I take my donuts in Oticella. McDonald's may be pure poison, but if you make them at home, there's a lot of healthy ingredients. Ale. I've never understood this one. Burgers are just meat, bread, lettuce, and cheese. I think the unhealthy part is due to what we eat alongside them. Fries. High in calories. And a soda, very high in calories. I use 90% lean ground beef mixed with an egg. 1 IB gets 1 egg prior to cooking to hold it together, topped with tomato, romaine, light cheese sliced between a pretzel bun. No sauces necessary and so damned good. And not horrible for you. The bun is probably the worst part. McDonald's burgers are actually not cancer-inducing. It's the buns. The meat is relatively okay. Ground beef. But the buns are full of the sugar that pumps up the calorie count. As an aside, if you ever want to order a Big Mac without the bun, just order a McDouble. The only thing special about the Big Mac is the sauce and a third slice of bread right in the middle. Pizza. A well-made pizza has all your major food groups in it, along with lots of fresh vegetables. It's just a bread tray for whatever you feel like eating. Armchair nutritionists are my favorite. I'll go ahead and say high-fat foods are nearly as unhealthy as people believe. We think that high-fat foods make you fat because of the name. Lipids are calorically dense, but they're also filling, and I find I eat more calories from the bread group than from fats. Pretty much all the time. Avenue Lab got crucified in the low-fat wars, which were based on ignorance anyway. Also, butter versus margarine. Butter is way better. I can't do whole milk unless I'm going big on chocolate milk or cooking specific recipes. I stick with 2%. I did skim for a while but bought 2% accidentally. Didn't turn back. Butter is 100% better than margarine, absolutely. Not going to lie. Salted butter is legit. Psilocybin. I don't know that I would consider magic mushrooms a food in the traditional sense. Make sure you're preparing your mushies with a lemon tech to break that psilocybin down to psilocin. It'll keep you from getting the tummy cramps and it'll make them about 1.5x stronger. Wild how tricking your body into thinking it's dying can help you deal with a number of mental WTT soul. Wine. In small doses though. Just one bottle JS okay, right? Right. I can't remember which childhood TV show said it. Maybe Slim Goodbody? But pizza. It contains all of the basic food groups. Ninja Turtles. Maybe? They're all about pizza. A lot of people act like potatoes are the devil because they think of them in the context of fries or covered in added stuff. A medium-sized potato is a wonderful, versatile addition to many meals, and is quite filling. A lot of nights when I'm too lazy to cook, I'll just microwave one, put a dash of olive oil and whatever seasonings catch my eye on it. Have you ever tried baking them wrapped in foil in their skin under the charcoal of a campfire? They taste delicious even without addendums. Plain potato chips. They are a little high in salt and a little high in fat. Manageably high though. Fat doesn't matter. It's the calories that do. Isn't Taco Bell one of those surprisingly healthy, for what it is, junk foods? Their biggest asset is that you can make endless customizations to make it healthy. Their calorie counts aren't terribly high compared to most other fast foods. I'm guessing fats, cholesterol, and all the other stuff are not so good. I recently lost a significant amount of weight through calorie counting control, and I ate Taco Bell at least once a week the entire time. IDK if it's healthy, but more like better than the alternative. If it's 4 crunchy beef tacos from Taco Bell or a Baconator and fries from Wendy's, then yeah, the healthier choice is probably Taco Street. It can be when compared to other fast food restaurants. Good macros at least, but still quite high in sodium. If I am in a hurry, I'll pick up a couple shredded chicken quesadilla melts. It's off their dollar menu. Tastes great, and with 2 of them it's almost 30 grams of protein for a couple bucks. 310 calories each, so be careful. McDonald's. It has lettuce. And get Dr. Pepper on the side for some pepper. Well, I do know that Big Macs are healthier than McDonald's salads. In what way? I mean, if you go easy in the dressing, the salads are pretty much just veggies with chicken, which are almost certainly better nutritionally than a Big Mac. If you go to solely off of calories, then sure. But if you actually delve a little deeper than that, the salad has a way better macro profile and does have decent nutrients in it. Also, you are most likely not getting a side of fries with a salad. Switch to Italian dressing. Has 1/4 the calories of ranch. Lol. Everybody knows that fast food salads aren't that good for you, but this is a step too far. Shawarma. People that shawarma is unhealthy, but real, it's one of the healthiest fast food. In shawarma are many vegetables and some meat. If you want meat, it is more healthy than hot dogs or hamburgers or French fries. A homemade hamburger with fiber-rich bread, vegetables, good quality meat, and actual cheeses. A pretty good meal. It's just because of these huge low-quality piles of pure unhealthiness sold by low-paid workers at dirty McDonald's it's considered junk food. MSG. It's fine in moderation, similar to salt. Taco Bell. It is actually one of the healthiest fast food chains around. They have recently reduced all sodium in food by 15%, aiming for 25% in the future. I've always grown up hearing people talk about how Taco Bell gives them the shits, but honestly, after 10 plus years of eating their food, I've never experienced it. Laughs and Doritos tacos. Yeah, I've always found that weird. I can't have actual spicy food, but my digestive system is quite literally deteriorating, and TB still doesn't give me any worse stomach problems than anything else. Chips. If you make them at home, they are nowhere near as bad for you compared to when you go to a restaurant or takeaway. Pal. ITT. People confusing energy content with how healthy the food is. The two can be related but are not the same. Steak. I've never really heard about steak being unhealthy unless you eat it every day, which could really be said about anything. Mayonnaise. The good kind. It's just egg and good fats. Mac and cheese. I always saw it as the absolute unhealthiest of unhealthy food, but my dietitian told me it's actually fine for you. In moderate amounts, of course. It gives you carbs, protein, fats, and tastes good too. I like to mix in some peas and cubed chicken with mine too, and that makes it even better for you. Is a box moderate by any chance? Cheeky smiley face. Spagata 111 22 points 3 hours ago, edited 3 hours ago. Sugary foods. In fact, most overtly unhealthy foods are not that bad for you in and of themselves. How many times have you gone to a restaurant and watched your whole family eat 1,000 plus calories of food in one sitting, but then skip the dessert menu because, oh no, I can't have sugar? Yes, you can have sugar. You're just not supposed to have heaps of sugar all the damn time. The dessert is not your problem, your diet is your problem. The creme brulee never did a damn thing. Wait. Eat 1,000 plus calories of food in one sitting. And a Diet Coke to drink, please. Most fried foods don't have any extra fat than when they went in the fryer, as long as they were cooked correctly. Frying is just an efficient way to force moisture out of something from all directions at once with even heat. It's when the food crosses the line from crispy to greasy, soggy, that it starts retaining oil. Until that point, the escaping moisture prevents oil from getting in. Air-popped popcorn.